Hi, Elena here. Welcome to my mid-year flip-through of my very first reading journal. This is an Archer and Olive notebook that I've repurposed for my reading journal. I absolutely love it, and today I'm just going to show you all of the spreads that I've made so far this year and talk through what I think about them. Are they working for me? What would I do differently next time? I've definitely learned a lot. This being my first reading journal, I wanted to try as many different styles as I could to find out what really works for me and what I like. So first we are going to create my May and June monthly spreads. I'll talk through my stats and the books that I read, and then I'll do a complete flip through and reflection of the journal thus far. I cannot believe that we are already in July. Time is flying. Feel free to skip ahead if you just want to see the flip through. Otherwise, let's get started with May. So, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my May monthly spread, I really wanted it to be a bit simpler. A spread that doesn't need as many supplies. I'm just sticking to pens and colored pencils for the most part. I did end up using one stamp and it's super cute, but it's definitely not necessary. Like I was saying earlier, my journal is just getting a little heavy. I've glued a lot of pages into this. I've literally watercolored some pages. I've added stickers. I really needed something just a bit lighter and simpler, considering we're only halfway through the year. I went with this postal theme, which I think is perfect for that. I like how the postcards kind of split up the different sections of the stats that I'm adding. I think it turned out super cute and kind of clean looking with all those crispy lines. And all I really needed was a pencil, some pens or markers, colored pencils, and a ruler or a protractor if you want to pretend like you're back in middle school. May was a pretty big reading month for me. Looking back at April, I was in a bit of a slump, and I only really realized it when May hit and I was suddenly reading like crazy. I also like to look back at how much I was reading in previous years. In 2022, I read 5 books, and in 2023, I only read 2 books. So maybe I was in a slump then too. This May, though, I read 10 books, 3,199 pages, and best of all, my average star rating this month was 4.3, which is so freaking good. I just read a lot of hits this month. And shockingly, for me anyway, my top genre this month was not fantasy, but actually romance. I was really feeling the beachy reads and romantic vibes, and the books I was reading definitely delivered. This was also the first month this year where audiobooks were my top format. It's usually ebooks because I'm totally Kindle obsessed. Next, I had to showcase the top books of the month over here because they were just so good. I read my favorite contemporary romance, probably of all time, Emily Henry's Funny Story. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez was also amazing. I also read the Lachlan Feuds series by Robin D. Mall and Elle Madison, and I freaking loved it. Best slow burn ever. And lastly, of course, Dawn by Octavia E. Butler, because I've also been super into sci-fi recently, and her books have been blowing my mind. Here is my one kind of extra thing that I added to this spread, this super cute 5-star reads stamp that I got from an Etsy shop. I'll talk more about that in the flip through, but I just thought that this matched the postal theme so well that I had to add it here, and I love it so much. So here's the final spread. I really think this turned out great. Now we are getting into June, and wow, June was a chaotic month. It's the end of the school year, which is a very busy time for me as a school librarian, and the start of summer always feels so packed with trips and plans and activities. So my reading month was not quite as strong as May, but I was not in a slump. Make no mistake, I was reading as much as I could and loving every second of it. I knew that for this spread, I wanted to center the theme around these adorable washi tape stickers from the washi store. They are so summery and lovely and truly just a dream to work with. They peel up so easily, they're repositionable. Ugh, I'll tell you more about that in the flip through, but yeah, I kind of went overboard putting them everywhere. It was just so fun that once I started, I couldn't stop. also made these little boxes for the stats with scalloped edges, and I think they turned out so good. They fit the theme perfectly, and they truly were not hard to do. Y'all know I always say I cannot draw, but a little scalloped edges I could handle, and for some reason I think they really add something special to the spread. In terms of stats, I completed 8 books, 2,774 pages, which is much better than the 2 books that I read in 2022 and 2023. But it does fall slightly short of the 10 books I had on my ambitious TBR. I played a TBR game for this month, which you can check out on our channel if you'd like. I've been enjoying a TBR game every other month or so. It's fun to let something else choose my books for me, and it helps me get through my physical TBR and series that I'm in the middle of. I knew 10 was pretty ambitious, so I'm happy with the 8 that I completed. In fact, I am so obsessed with Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir that I refuse to rush it. Like, I won't. I actually cannot describe how obsessed I am with this book. It's on another level. I probably need to film an entire video just about that book. So taking my time with Gideon the Ninth definitely slowed me down somewhat, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I can also report that A Good Girl's Guide to Murder was a viewer's recommendation that I enjoyed so much. I'm so glad it was recommended, because I don't think I would have picked that one up on my own, and I loved the Nancy Drew mystery vibes. So leave your recommendations in the comments, because the viewer recs are definitely hitting for me. As far as genres go, fantasy was back on top, and the audiobooks were surprisingly still my top format. I love how this spread turned out. Now let's get into the flip through. This is the very first page of my reading journal. I never ended up doing a title page. I kind of wish that I would. I might do one now or at the end of the year to kind of wrap things up. But this page is exactly what it looks like. I'm tracking every single book that I'm reading this year. The star rating, I gave it on Goodreads, so that's rounded up or down to a whole star, and the date that I read it. Honestly, I'm not obsessed with this. I mean, I don't like the empty wasted space here, and tell me why I decided to write the full date out, including the year, when they're all going to be the same year. I don't know. I think if I do this again next year, I'll do something a little bit different. I don't hate this. It's just not my favorite spread. But this one, oh my gosh, this might be my favorite spread. I am still so obsessed with how this turned out. So this is a shelfie reading tracker. I created these on Canva, and we actually made a couple different themes. This one is kind of fantasy themed, but we have one that's plant themed, one that is dark academia, and one that's romance themed. And those are available as free printables in the free printables document linked in the description box below. So I have that printed out here, and I've colored it in with alcohol-based markers because they blend really nicely. They don't show any lines. Now they do bleed through, so that's why I printed this out on a different piece of paper and pasted it into my journal. But it totally works, and I love how this looks. Next time I will not pick peach for ebooks. When I chose peach, it was at the beginning of the year, and at that point I thought that I didn't really read a lot of ebooks, but now I've realized that it's actually my preferred method and I'd rather read on my Kindle than anything else. So I ended up with a lot of peach, and it just blends in a lot with the background. But other than that, I think this spread is so pretty. I absolutely love it. There are 50 books here, and I've colored them all in because I've already read 50 books this year. And that was one of my goals, which I put behind this adorable sort of Dutch door style moment. I'm still working on most of these other goals, but I feel really good about where I've gotten so far. I think I will increase my reading goal to 100. I might as well. It looks like I'm tracking that way anyway. Okay, the next page we have Book Bingo and my DNF graveyard. This was so fun to make, but I actually don't DNF books that often. So far I only have one down here, Butcher and Blackbird. It's just not for me. If you watched our vlog when I was trying to read this, I just couldn't do it, guys. Maggots, come on, no. And over here we have a book bingo board, and
I made this myself. You can print your own. We have one linked in the printables document, but one of our viewers actually reached out and she has a pre-made book bingo board that you can download from her Etsy shop. It's really cute and she has it like summer themed and other themes. So if you don't want to make one yourself, that's a really good option. We'll have that linked in the description box. I have not hit bingo yet, but I'm close to hitting bingo in multiple directions. I'm obviously going to keep filling this in even once I do hit bingo, but it's just fun to see. I'm really enjoying this so far. It's just an interesting way to look at my books. Sometimes I have a book bingo challenge in mind when I choose a book to read, and other times I read a book and then later when I update my reading journal, I realize that it fits one of these prompts. So I think it's been really fun. Okay, this spread is a straight up fail. I give up. I will not be updating this anymore. So essentially, the problem here is that I hate sports. I don't, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. Is that like too aggressive? I don't know anything about sports. So when I tried to make a bracket, I did not understand how many boxes I needed. I made way too many boxes. I needed an elimination bracket, and what I've created is, I don't know, a pyramid. So you could see you end up putting the same two books up against each other over and over, and it's pointless, and I'm tired of printing out these little books. I'm just over this. I will film a video at the end of the year with a bracket of all of my best books of the year to find the best one, and that's how I'll do it, because this spread, yeah, I'm abandoning it. Goodbye. But how cute does this look? These are my best books of 2024. I printed them out on cardstock and put them in as like a little book. And then if you open each one, it has some commentary about why I loved it so much. I think these look so pretty all laid out. And I made another page of this, but it's already almost full. So I think I will make this exact spread again later in the journal, so that when I have more best books, I can add them in. This is a series tracker page, and I don't know, to be honest, I don't love this anymore. I think, first of all, I should not have skipped lines. I should have gone every line and condensed this a lot, because I would have so much more space. I completely ran out of space on this spread, and I've started so many new series that I'm not tracking in here because there's not enough space. So I might start another series tracker page where it's more condensed and I can fit more series in. I've also realized that I'm probably not going to finish all of these series. Like, realistically, I don't know if I will finish The War of Lost Hearts. I loved the first book, but I hated the second book. And will I ever read Assassin's Quest? I don't know, I really should, but I'm not sure. So stay tuned, I will probably create another series tracker page in the future. Okay, on this page, I'm tracking my Kindle Unlimited and library books because one of my goals is to read more books from Kindle Unlimited and the library. So on each month, I've pasted in this little like treasure map looking piece of cardstock. I used gold gel pen to add a little interest to the edges, and I just wrote down the books. I think this looks really cute. I'm really loving this, and it definitely encourages me to read more Kindle Unlimited and Libby books. I have yet to get a physical book from the library. I really need to do that. On this page, I have some quotes that stuck out to me as I was reading this year. As you can see, I've already almost filled up this spread, so I might do another one of these, or I might just let this one be filled up and remember all of these quotes from the books I read in the first half of the year. These little speech bubbles, it definitely would have been easier for me to just write out the quotes and then draw a speech bubble around them, because sometimes I ran out of space at the end of the speech bubble and had to write teeny tiny to fit in the whole quote. But to be honest, the consistent speech bubbles I sort of think look better than if I just did it myself. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn on that. These speech bubbles are available in the free printables document as well. Okay, look how pretty this spread is. I really like this spread. I think mainly because of the lettering. It just turned out so cute and fun, like highlighter colors really stand out to me. I just love it. So Here I'm comparing in a line graph how many books and how many pages I read in 2022, that's the blue lines, 2023 is the orange lines, and this year is purple. I do regret choosing such close colors for the books and the pages. They kind of run together. I wish I had done like purple and red for 2024 and yellow and orange for 2023. You get it. But I can still tell what's what because the line graph for the books is always going to end on a whole number, so exactly on the grid. And I'm sure you can tell from looking at this, I've had an amazing reading year. I'm reading more than ever. That's partly because of this channel, and I'm just having so much fun. So far, it's going great. Now we're getting into the monthly spreads, where I've been creating a new differently themed spread every month and tracking my reading stats from that month. This is my favorite part of the reading journal. These spreads are so much fun to make. They are so creative. Every single one of them looks completely different. And I just really enjoy brainstorming what to do for these spreads and putting them together. So this is the first one I did for January. It's kind of like scrapbook themed. This is a really popular theme that I see in other people's reading journals, and I used these typewriter stamps to write in my stats, and I think it looks really cute. Drawing the box is really what ties it all together, in my opinion. Okay, here is the February page. It's very pink and pretty. I think it turned out so cute with these boxes. This is a very simple spread. I mean, there's really just 3 little stickers here. These stickers are very cheap from Amazon. I did some washi tape at the top and bottom, and the rest is just marker that I drew in. And I think simple spreads like this are really nice to have. Okay, and then March. Whoa. I kind of went crazy on this spread. I am obsessed with it. I think it's so pretty. It turned out so nice. It took me forever because first I drew it all in pencil before going over it with pens and markers and the highlighters and all of that. So it took a long time, but the effect is so pretty, I think. I love the little vines. And guys, I am not an artist. I really cannot draw, but just doing these little squiggly lines with teeny tiny leaf shapes was so easy, even I could handle it. And I think it's really impactful and looks so nice. I also really impressed myself with this font that I copied off of a pin I saw on Pinterest. This is like the most drawing I've ever done. This is like the most artistic thing I've ever created. And I love how it looks. I think it's so pretty. I made a little calendar so I could track, how long it took me to read each book, how many I was reading at one time. There were a few points where I was reading 3 books at once, and that's pretty much the most I'll ever do. But I love this little visual. It's helpful to see how long it took me to read certain things. You can see here I read Bride in 1 day, and Children of Blood and Bone took me quite a while. I absolutely love that book, and I just spent some time with it. I love being able to look back and see that. This is the TBR that my TBR game had picked out for me for the month, and I did make it through all 10. Actually made it through 10 plus an additional one, so 11. And then on the back, I put how many star ratings I did. This is kind of not my favorite. I should have done this a little more cohesively. I thought the purple would match better, and it kind of doesn't, but it still works, and it's behind the Dutch door, so it doesn't really matter that it doesn't match perfectly. You can see basically how I'm reading this is that I had 1 book that was 2 stars, 2 books that were 2.5 stars, 1 book that was 3 stars, 1 book that was 3.5, and so on. My average rating that month was 3.8, which is decent. And then these little graphs I just printed out from my story graph page. Okay, and here is April. This one has a lot of shiny holographic elements, so sorry if the reflection makes it hard to see. But I watercolored these pages and then drew a bunch of stars on them with gold gel pen and wrote down my stats on this page. These stickers are from Amazon, very cheap. I think they look really cool. They're kind of huge though. I think I prefer smaller size stickers for my reading journal, but I do think the effect is quite nice. It gives very fantasy vibes, and I think it looks great. I really like how this page turned out. Because it has this watercolor paper, it's very thick though. It's definitely making my reading journal expand. Here's my May spread. I wanted to go with something that I didn't need to buy any stickers for. It's just mainly marker and colored pencil. And it's kind of postal themed. I think this turned out so good. I think it looks very clean, very crisp. It's very pretty and colorful. I really like how this one turned out. It's easy to read. It's very simple. It took me some time, but it really wasn't that bad considering. The only thing I had to purchase for this spread was this certified 5-star read stamp. I'll talk more about these stamps in a minute, but you don't necessarily need that to recreate this spread. If you are just getting started and you don't want to buy a bunch of stuff for your reading journal, a spread like this, I think, is a great place to start. Okay, and here's the June spread, which, wow, I absolutely love how this came out. I know it's very busy, but I'm learning that I love a very busy journal spread. I want there to be a lot going on, a lot of things to catch your eye. And the more you look at it, the more things you notice. I just think that is so fun. And I think this spread turned out really nice. When I was writing it, my hand was starting to absolutely die. So some of my handwriting is a little shaky in here, but whatever. I think nobody would notice that except for me, I'm sure. And I realized these washi tape stickers are just a dream to work with. These ones are from the washi store and they're so easy to use. They peel off super easily from the roll, and you can even peel them back up and reposition them, which just gave me a lot of freedom to experiment, knowing that I could move things around if I needed to. And that's probably why I added so many stickers, because they were just so easy and fun to use. Highly recommend. So now I have some blank pages where I'll do the rest of the monthly spreads, add in new yearly spreads, that sort of thing. But then if I flip to the back of my journal, starting from the end going inward, I am doing these scrapbook style spreads for all of the different books that I read this year so far. This has been a kind of labor intensive part of the journal. It takes me a lot of time to make these spreads, and to be honest with you, it sort of feels a little bit like overkill at points, because it sort of feels like I'm reviewing these books in like 1,000 different places, you know? I have my Goodreads, I have Storygraph, I have the reading journal, I'm also reviewing them in our videos, and doing it again here, it can be a little bit much, I think. But I'm always so happy with how these spreads turn out. They're like a scrapbook, and I can look back and see my thoughts on the pages, so I don't know, I'm half and half on whether I would do this again or not. To be fair, when I started doing this, I thought I was going to be doing it for 50 books total over the whole year. But as previously mentioned, I have already read 50 books. So now I'm doing it for 100 books, and that's a lot of work. So I have some regrets, but it is what it is. I've done them in different styles because, again, I'm experimenting and just trying to see what I like. I actually don't love this spread anymore, but maybe that's just because orange is not my favorite color ever, even though I absolutely loved Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler. Some of these stickers I purchased on Etsy, and the links to those are in the printable Google Doc, and maybe we'll put them in the description box as well. And then a lot of these other stickers are ones that I created myself in Canva, and you can also find these in the Google Doc as well in case you're interested in using any of these stickers for your own reading journal purposes. So you can see these pages are really scrapbooky. I think they look really nice. This one is my favorite, the Chestnut Springs spread, mainly because of this lettering at the top. I think this lettering turned out so cool. I love the hot pink. It really is giving cowgirl. I read all 5 of the books in the Chestnut Springs series in like a week earlier this year. At first I was reading them just for a video, just to kind of see. I did not expect to like them, but turns out I do love a hot cowboy. Some of these books absolutely blew me away, especially Heartless. This one, wow, so good. I also loved Flawless and Reckless, but then this was a series of very high highs and very low lows, because Powerless is probably my least favorite book that I've ever read. I really did not like it. And Hopeless, almost as bad. So, like I said, it was a roller coaster, but I think this spread turned out so cute. Next, I tried this style where I used washi tape to create kind of windows for each book. It looks really structured, which is nice. I wish I had written the title of the book somewhere. I guess at the time I was thinking that since I had the book covers here, I didn't really need to rewrite the title, but I kind of wish I had done that now. Other than that, though, I think these turned out really nice. And once again, these are all made with stickers that I created in Canva, and they are in the Google Doc. So I have a bunch of pages like this. And then we switched to this style. So I wanted to try out something different, of course, and I thought these stamps might be a little easier and quicker to use than the washi tape to kind of separate each section for each book. And it was and it wasn't. Stamps are a little finicky. There were parts where it would skip a lot, especially because in this back half of the reading journal, I have a lot of stickers in these areas and not a lot of stickers down the middle of each page. So it's making the pages lie not completely flat. There's almost like a little divot in the middle. So when I would push down the stamp, it would have a hard time making contact with the page right there in the middle. So a couple places I just went over it in marker. I think it still looks good, but you tell me, what do you think? I think the stamps themselves are very high quality and fabulous. I'm just learning. You know what? I just thought of what I should do. Oh my God. I should just put a piece of cardstock behind the page when I push down the stamp. Oh my God. Okay, great. Well, we solved that. And let me show you these stamps while we're here. I bought these stamps on Etsy and they are such great quality. I really like them. That one is still wet though, just need to be careful. But yeah, I ordered these from an Etsy shop, and the Etsy shop is actually local to me in North Carolina. So that's always nice to support a local small business, right? And I think they're really nice. I mean, this one is obviously the giant banner. And then I ordered stamps for 5 stars and 5 chili peppers of spiciness. These ones especially are very fun and easy to use. And then I have the certified 5-star reads stamp. Anyway, other than the stamps, it's just pre-made stickers that I made myself again. One thing that I've really enjoyed is noting down the average Goodreads rating of a book. I just find it so interesting to see what other people like and how my own ratings compare. And one thing that I've noticed is that if the book is rated like 4.2 or higher, I almost always enjoy that book. And when the rating dips below 4, it can be a little hit or miss for me. So you can see God Killer was such a disappointment to me. I only gave it 2.5 stars. And on Goodreads, it has 3.91. But for example, the Lachlan Feuds books, all of them have ratings above 4, like 4.24, 4.25, 4.19, and I absolutely loved these books. Just an interesting trend that I've noticed. Couple more pages of this. I decided to combine these books, even though I read them kind of far apart. Putting them in one spread just makes more sense to me. Same for Part of Your World and Just for the Summer. I actually read Just for the Summer first. Oops, I didn't realize that it was a series when I read it. In fact, I blame Erin. That's Erin's fault because she didn't tell me. But I went back and read Part of Your World, and I don't think it messed up my enjoyment to read them out of order like that. I really liked these. And that's all of the scrapbooky pages so far. I still have a few of these to do. I think there's only maybe 48 represented here, but I'm not sure what style I'll do next. If you have any recommendations or if you really preferred the banner stamp style or the washi tape windows or the more loose scrapbook style, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. That's everything. I hope you enjoyed seeing each page and watching me build those new monthly spreads. I think they turned out so nice. Stay tuned. We upload a reading journal update every 6 weeks or so, and I upload shorts in between to show you the mini updates that I'm doing along the way. I would love to hear what your favorite parts of the journal are, which parts that you might incorporate into your own reading journal, and any other thoughts you have, reading journal related or otherwise. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked this video, and please subscribe if you like this type of content. We do a lot of these reading journal videos. Thanks so much for watching, and until our next video, see you soon.